Okay, so welcome everybody. Today is the second session of our Virtue Book Club, and I can see here on Zoom, we've got quite a fair number of participants already. And hi, Amy and Vijit from Singapore, Etane, and Christina from Australia, Macedon Ranges. Christina, oh my goodness, I love the Macedon Ranges. I know there's an area where you can drive your car and it goes like that, right? At Mount Macedon. And Amy, my dear friend who owns a beautiful Mexican restaurant, Amor, in Blackburn, and Joy. Hi, Joy. And Debbie from Werribee, Jane, Mornington Peninsula. Awesome. And awesome. Heath, hi. Right, no worries, Etane. Yeah, you can log off and come back in. But I'd love for you to share because you have a lot of insights in this topic. I know that, my darling. And Adam from St. Kilda. And no worries. No, if you don't feel comfortable sharing your camera, that's not a problem. You can just listen in. I know that it's a little early for those of you in Asia, but it's all good. Okay, so let's get started. So how many of you were here last month? Show of hands. Yeah. So last month, I'll just real quick, share a little bit of a summary of what we did, which really set the scene of what my book is all about. My book is called Juggling Health and Wealth, which talks about the 5 dimensions of health and the 5 pillars of wealth. So the 5 dimensions of health includes, I always use an anchor action. And when you think of an anchor, it looks like this, and that is spiritual, mental health. Okay, I'll just admit someone from the waiting room, Jane. Mental health, and then emotional health, physical health, and social health. Hey, Heath, can I put you as my co-host to admit people? Is that okay? That way I don't have to be sort of distracted in admitting people. Make co-host. Thank you, darling. All right, Heath. Okay, so hello, Auntie Anne and Jane, welcome. So I was just talking about my 5 dimensions of health: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and social health. Even though I am a licensed nutritionist and wellness and weight management coach, so physical health is really my bread and butter, so to speak, in terms of my business. I am all for holistic health, because even if you have the best body in the world, the best physical health with a lot of muscle and vitality, if you don't have emotional, spiritual, and mental health, you're still not optimally healthy. Many of you would have known that I went through a very rough patch earlier this year. And in fact, up until a month ago, I had 6 of my close friends and my really, really close mentor, Dennis friends, who passed away a month ago, and 3 from cancer, 1 from COVID, 1 from brain aneurysm, and my mentor passed away from heart failure. And because of that, I actually went through a rough time of going down to depression. I was in a dark hole and I just couldn't function properly. I'm very open to share this because I know that I'm not the only one. There are so many people that I know who have lost family and friends and close ones. And particularly during this last 18 months or so with COVID, mental health has been an epidemic. Last month in October was Mental Health Month, and I ran a mental health workshop, and I had more than 150 people on a Zoom. And that goes to show that mental health is something people really need support with. And my dear friend in Singapore here, Amy Poon, is someone that does that so well. She's been helping people with depression from young to old, and she also helped me when I was going through that time. So thank you, Amy. I know that you can't show your camera because you're actually in your clinic, but I just really, really thank you for supporting and cheering me on, and what you've taught me through tapping, EFT and all that has really helped me, and obviously, prayer from a lot of my dear friends, and God has been healing me. But today, our topic, when we talk about spiritual health, is about, your connection with whatever you believe, creator, universe, God. For me personally, I'm a Jesus girl. I believe in Jesus. So I believe in the ultimate authority of one that created the universe. But, I respect everyone who has, different belief system. But when I wrote about chapter 2, so how many of you have my book or my Kindle ebook? If you do, I would love for you to open that alongside me. And I know that some of you have my PDF. In fact, before I start, I just want to give a bit of an exciting announcement. Next Wednesday, I'm going to relaunch my Kindle version in Amazon of my book, which is the digital version. At the moment, I'm just going through categories and keywords where I would love to be helping people with the different areas of health and also different areas of wealth, and like people like Debbie and people like Con Nichols and others that are in the wealth space. And Fred, hello Fred, good to see you. He's a marketing guru as well, very good, in the wealth arena. And that's why I would love for you all to be my sounding board. And even when we share about wealth in the letter, a part of my book club, to be, sharing your insights. Because even though this is called book club, even though I'm the author of this book, I don't want me to be sort of just doing all the talking. I want everyone to be sharing, because surely I can learn so much from each and every single one of you. And that's the purpose of this community, of this book club. And right now we're doing virtual, but ultimately I want to do it face-to-face. Obviously, those of you in Singapore or Malaysia or Hong Kong, maybe you can come over to Australia, come to see us. But anyway, maybe we can do a global virtual book club. I can go to Singapore, Malaysia, do a virtual book club over there. That will be fun. But anyway, so Adam, yeah, thank you. I just want to say that, what I would love is, I'm just going to be going through a summary of what chapter 2 of my book, which is, about the health, the well-being of spiritual health. And oxygen mask is the name of the chapter 2, where, Randy Pauls talks about put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Do you all agree that, in this day and age, especially those of you who are possibly moms and dads and with, loved ones around you, you would put your heart and soul to give so much to those people around you, even your pets, even, your neighbors, your community, to a point that you forget about yourself. How many of you have experienced that? Yeah, I certainly have, because I'm the type of person, and I'm sure a lot of you heart-based entrepreneurs and friends are similar. You love giving, you love contributing, you love to, give whatever that you have been given, to a point sometimes that you forget about yourself. And I'm like that. And that's why, every time when you go on a plane, you would understand that there is this announcement: put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. Because if you don't do that, then you won't have oxygen enough when, the pressure comes in the plane and, things like that. And you will lose your own life before you can assist others, right? And I've experienced that quite a few times over in my life, where I basically got burned out, because I gave so much to others, to a point that I forget to have me time to look after myself. And if I'm not careful, I can still get into that trap. And that, is something that I need to be reminded of. Yeah, so he said, if you can't love yourself now, then the H ... can you love, how the heck can you love someone else? That's true. That's true. So we do need to have self-love. And that is really the essence of my chapter 2 about oxygen mask. All right. So maybe I won't go into too much details about the content of the book. And if you haven't got the book, when I launch on Wednesday, and I'm going to be donating all the sales of my book from the Amazon ebook version to the Black Dog Institute. How many of you have heard of the Black Dog Institute? Black Dog Institute is actually an organization here in Australia, and in fact it's global, that helps people who struggle with mental health issues, who struggle with suicidal thoughts and behaviors, etc. And I've been working alongside them. In fact, last month in October, I walked 72 kilometers to raise more than $1,500. And I am really passionate about what Black Dog Institute does, because what they do, you know, have been helping a lot of people who are going through mental illness and, you know, issues with suicide and all that. Because seriously, while we're going through this pandemic, whether it is during this time or really, mental health is something which it will be chapter 5 of my book. So come back, we'll talk about mental health, but today is spiritual health. So how many of you have read chapter 2 of my book? Show of hands if you have. May I invite you, maybe Yitain, you can start off, because I know that 11:30 you got to log off to pick up your son. What have you learned, or like, you know, your insights about this chapter? Sorry, we can't hear you, Yitain. Is your volume on?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can now. Thank you.
Okay, it's my mic. Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, so I read your chapter again before we start the channel, the call.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's interesting, you know, I think a lot of focus should be like what we mentioned today. The self-love is one of the most important thing that we should focus on. And for me, I feel like personally, I can relate in so many levels how I used to just always show up for others, but not looking after myself. Yeah. So for anyone that know me a little bit better, I have been on a spiritual journey for the last 18 months. And one of the ultimate things that we should really focus on is a lot of inner work. And that means showing up for yourself first before showing up for everybody else, right? Amen. And that also means, you know, being okay to say no to all the things that is not as important when it comes to what's important for you and your own well-being.
Yep.
Because when our cups is full, that's when we can show up and serve others. Yeah. And you know, taking that into, and you mentioned a lot about self-awareness, and that's something that a lot of people seems to understand the concept, but it is actually quite tricky to learn. Yeah. And just like any other kind of sports, you know, we have to kind of train for it. And, you know, being self-aware, and you mentioned in the book, you know, kind of checking in at different times to just realize whether you're in the present moment, or are you caught up in the past or in the future, thinking too much about what needs to be done. It will put you on track into, you know, you can actually check in into yourself, with yourself emotionally, whether you're looking after yourself. And yeah, I truly believe that, you know, if we do that, we can show up better for others. And, you know, for me, I've been practicing that for some time now, and it's definitely been helpful. And I feel like I'm a happier person, and I'm more efficient that way, more productive that way. And I feel like I have more to give too. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I know that you've actually gone on such an amazing spiritual journey. That's why I thought, well, this chapter or this Virtue Book Club, I'd love for you to be sharing your insights. And obviously you've been my piglet. I don't know whether you saw my post this morning.
No.
Piglet. No, you can all read it. It's just an amazing idea that, you know, Winnie the Pooh was having a difficult day. And then she was like sitting there, and the piglet sitting next to her and say, "Hey, Pooh, you look very upset. Why is that?" And so you can read it. So basically, this is from my mindfulness master, who is actually a coach that taught me about mindfulness. In fact, that would be one chapter that I'll be sharing about the mental health. But yeah, so that's why Yitain, I can say, out of all of my friends, you're absolutely one of my amazing piglets that sits with me, support me. And when I was going through a rough patch earlier this year, you were always checking in with me and loving me. So I thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, babe. All right, so Joy, hi Joy. Can you unmute yourself and share with us what you have, experienced in terms of oxygen mask or self-love?
Yeah, sure. So I actually picked up Kitty's book first. And then I had a chance to have lunch with her. So I was so thrilled to be able to meet the author of this book,
Thank you.
Yeah. I think for me, this book was very timely when I read it because I just had a baby, my second child, and I definitely had no self-care, no self-love. Everything was poured into trying to keep the baby healthy, clean, fed, Yeah.
Oh, Hopi, your baby is just right next to you while she's talking about her. Hey, Hopi. You can have her right over here. Yeah, have her.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Hello,
So
Hopi.
then, Hopi, hang on. Yeah. So basically, it was, that reflection after reading Kitty's book to spend time just on yourself. And for me, it was actually starting with just a skincare routine. It may sound strange, but I didn't even spend time to do my face properly. It was just wash your face and that was it. And so actually sitting down and spending time using the different creams, a bit of self-pampering was extremely therapeutic to me. So that's how I kind of got back on the self-care road after having my second child.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I have this saying, skincare is self-care, and I know that I'm not looking after myself when I don't look after my skin. It's so true. Like Yitang would tell you, right? Like she's got this checking, scanning, really that like my skin or my beauty routine, when it's not doing well, then beauty and skin comes up. Then I know, oh yeah, I'm not looking after myself, because truly skincare is self-care.
Very true. Yeah,
very true, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm so tired. At the end of the day, I just went to bed without even washing my face, or like a real quick water wash rather than cleanser.
That's right. Yeah, I remember, I hadn't shopped or bought anything for myself in such a long time because it was so hard to go out with the baby. Yes. And then after reading your book and thinking about self-care, I remember I went to the beauty shop and spent like $200.
Oh, good self-care. That one.
Yeah, but that was just the one off. It was just like to make up for the last, 1 year.
$200. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, because if we don't really look after ourselves, then we can't overflow it to others. And I am reminded, especially this morning as I was reflecting about this, because I have been really extremely busy this whole week, these last 2 weeks, in fact, that I have not been sleeping enough, and I've not really looked after myself as well as I should. So thank you for that reminder, Joy, again.
Yeah, welcome.
It's self-care.
Yes.
All right, anyone else? Heath. Share your insights, Heath. I don't know whether you've read chapter 2 yet, but I know you've got a lot of insights.
I haven't, but I do know the theory. And it is so true. A lot of people, particularly women, are conditioned to keep putting everyone or putting themselves last, particularly if they're a mother. But it's just so important to make sure that your needs are met as well. I like that oxygen mask analogy, because you can't, if you think you're up the airplane, you'll be passed out in seconds if you don't put your own mask on, first, then what use are you going to be to the people around you? And it's the same if you deplete yourself.
Yeah.
You're trying to fill someone else's cup when yours is empty. And it's not really a pure love then, really, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, your cup has to be overflowing. Yes. Plus, think about, with your loved ones, particularly your children, what you're teaching your children by not treating yourself properly.
Yeah.
Because particularly in the first 8 years of life, children are in a completely different brainwave pattern. So they're predominantly in the theta wave pattern. So they absorb absolutely everything. They're like little sponges. I think, I'm always amazed at how quickly children pick things up. But you look at how we acquire language. No one sits down and teaches us how to speak our languages.
Yeah.
We just absorb them. So it's not just language, it's also how to treat others.
Right.
So we all learn from our mother how to treat our partner and how a woman should be treated. We learn from our father, how to treat their partner and how a male should be treated. And if you're putting yourself to the bottom of the pile, what do you think that's saying to your sons and daughters?
Yes.
I think it's so important, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for, put yourself first for your children, because then you have the energy to give to your children and to your loved ones.
That's so true. Yeah, thank you, Heath. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your insights. And my dear friend Amy here, she is really good with self-love, I think, because she just finished her yoga and she's having some sweetful energy. Amy, you've written here, which I really love. I was just reading your comment about, the fact that a lot of us really know intellectually, right? Self-love is important, but there's a conflict with our subconscious fear. Do you want to elaborate a bit on that, Amy?
Sure. Thank you, Kitty, for the invitation. Hi, everyone. So it's Amy here from Melbourne, and I'm glad to join you guys.
I'm glad you joined too, dear.
Yes. So that thought arises. My background is mastered in psychology, and also I am a mother. I am a business owner, and a partner, so we wear many hats. And yes, there has been a lot of programs, a lot of theories, the positivity of self-care. But why is it that we don't? That's something that is good for us, just like drinking water. Why don't we do that? And I to some extent, I agree with Heath, because there is a conflict with our upbringing. The first 5 years of child's brain is so pure. We absorb everything. And, many of our upbringing is based on survival. And that's on the basic level, but on the social level, it's about approval, right? I can only speak from my experience, and I'm sure many of us could relate, is sometimes we do things for approval, to seek permission from our parents. If we're doing the right thing, we get a tick. If we follow the rules, in school we get an A+.
I know. Yes.
So it's almost this conflict. It goes, if I do this, I will get this approval. But if I don't do this, I get punished. It is so interesting with upbringing. And in some way, we almost have to unlearn to not to be our own judge. And the best thing we could ever do is sometimes it's okay not to have approval from others.
Yes.
And if anything else, it is stronger. Myself now, I look after my health, physically, mentally, because I know if I am on an optimal level, no one needs to look after me per se, but I'm in a better state, in a better version to do greater things.
Yes.
So that is a very subconscious, and until we realize what is the main cause, then we'll be able to really tackle and move forward without almost fighting resistance. Yeah.
So true. So true, Amy. I love your contribution, especially the idea of paradigm shift, right? Paradigm shift is a very curious thing.
Yes, thank you.
And those of you who don't know Amy, she's an owner of a beautiful Mexican restaurant. I haven't been there yet, but I know it is beautiful.
That's okay.
Community-based. I probably will be there for our business marketplace if I'm not in Adelaide by then. But I was thinking, maybe we're doing this virtual book club. We can go to her restaurant to do a physical book club.
So, Amor Mexico is more than a Mexican restaurant. We are a community hub. Our philosophy is really to create a space for people to connect, to create and celebrate. whether it's through food, through art and entertainment. So yeah,
we've been
our doors is
exploring
open.
collaboration for ages, so it's now time,
I
right?
know. we got to see each other in 3D.
We have to. Thank you, Amy. I know that you've got stuff that's happening, but you can always go back to my Facebook group to watch the rest if you like. But your
Absolutely, I will.
Very appreciated. Thank you, darling.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
You too.
I'll see you all.
See you,
Bye.
Amy. See you, Amy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So I would love to sort of change a little bit of a gear to the second topic that is to do with what Etain has alluded to, and that is self-awareness. Self-awareness is something that I personally have been grappling with for the longest time and still am, because, you know, there's this thing, I mean, if you have my book, you can actually turn to the part that I wrote about my own experience of self-awareness. A story of my own experience where someone actually had to tell me what my own blind spot is. How many of you know that we all have a blind spot that you personally don't know about, but other people can observe and tell you? And if we're not open to it, we can be, you know, doing ourselves and others a disservice. So the example that I gave in the book of a story of my own self-awareness is such that I was actually, you know, out with a dear friend and my husband, where they were talking to me. At that time, I wasn't very good with being present and being mindful. So then my friend suddenly stopped after she talked halfway through. Kitty, you always do this. I don't like it. I'm just paraphrasing. I said, what is it? What's wrong? And she said, you always do this. I said, what do I always do? When you are talking to me, you're not listening to me. You're thinking about what you want to say next. How many of you do that? That was my blind spot. Yeah, Adam, right, Heath? I know you and I, Heath, we always do that, don't we? But now I'm trying to be more mindful and self-aware, because if I am trying to think about what I'm going to say next when someone is talking to me, I'm not there for that person, listening to them. And so after that incident, I started being more aware and mindful of this blind spot of mine. And I think now I'm a little bit better. Still a long way to go. Still a work in progress in not listening to others while they're talking. And how many of you, if you don't mind sharing, either to pop it into a group chat or share, unmute yourself, you know, or someone have, you know, told you that you've got a blind spot? Can anyone willing to be open and share? No? Jeet, do you have any experience like that?
Not really, but
No?
then I think I have heard from my friends that when they are talking to me, I'm actually not present there.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's very easy to do, because sometimes when people are talking to us, because our mind is, you know, that my friend who is actually a neuroscientist always talks about, we've got like hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day.
yes.
So even right now, as I'm sharing with you, your mind can be thinking about, what am I going to have lunch next? Or other things. What about my kids? How this and that and the other thing is true. So, but that is only one part of our self-awareness, that we need to be mindful and present. And right here, right now, I'm with all of you in this Virtue Book Club. I need to be present. And if my mind is thinking about something else, that's fine. Mindfulness teaches us that we can always come back, come back where we are. But that is only one example. Another blind spot. Auntie Anne, are you able to, I don't know, you might not be able to share your camera, or?
No,
that's okay.
Because
yeah, the reason why I wanted to bring up Auntie Anne, I had a chat with her this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to use that example. Do you want to share, or would you like me to share?
You share, then I
Okay.
can add in some.
Yeah, you can. Auntie Anne was telling me, she knows me very well. Auntie Anne is actually my mentor in the internet franchise business with shop.com. And she would always, give me a lot of great mentoring and coaching in how I can improve in serving my team, my, clients and customers. And so Auntie Anne was talking to me about how she witnessed that I'm the kind of person that has high expectations on myself, but also on others, whether it's my clients, my team, or people that I work with closely. When my expectations are not met, I get discouraged or disappointed and even frustrated. Now, do I know about that? I probably do, but it has become a blind spot to a point that if I keep on being like that, then I can actually go down because I get discouraged. Right, Auntie Anne?
Yes, sorry, I eating something.
That's okay.
I
Yeah,
eating
that's
my
fine.
lunch.
Yeah, so maybe you can just share a little bit about my blind
I
spot.
feel, Kitty, because I feel in this world, we don't expect everybody like our standard, and everybody is good in other things, not necessarily. Maybe you think that's important, for them is not so important.
Yes.
So if you expect too much, you become like, you wound yourself, you see, because you're not happy, and even you can affect the other party.
Yes.
Because you will say the word that, actually you want to encourage them, but they might be not in the mood, not in the timing yet. So you can't force on people. Anything, you have to think of what is a good point, what is doing well in other areas. Just like our kids also the same. You cannot expect every area they are from your expectation, they will do what you do. See? Yes. Yeah, that's why Kitty's weak point, I feel.
That's true. It's my weak point, and it's also my blind spot, which I need to be more aware of. I suppose I'm aware of it, but I need to improve on that. Thank you, Auntie Anne, because the thing is so true. Say, for example, I'm actually, a coach for a lot of people who are trying to, manage their weight or become well. If I see, some really good, resources, let's say, using a journal, like I write a journal, and I always encourage my clients to write in their journal, because those that do journaling in terms of their TLS weight management tend to get better results. And when they don't do in the past, I would be like, oh, come on, this is such a good thing. And if you don't do it, then you're not getting the best results that you can. And I would get a bit frustrated. But now, knowing this, being aware, I know that that's like Auntie Anne, it's not their time yet. I can't force people to do things they can't do at that point. So keep reminding me, Auntie Anne, because I know that I will get back into that weak point.
Yes.
All right. So Debbie, good to see you. I know that you've read my book from chapter to chapter. Can you share a little bit about any of the things in chapter 2 about, oxygen mask, self-love, or self-awareness? You're muted. If you don't mind, unmute yourself to share with us, Debbie.
Well, I think everyone's sort of on the same track here about the oxygen mask. If you don't have someone looking after yourself first, you're not going to look after anybody else. So personally, having 5 children with disabilities, now being a grandmother of 3 grandchildren, the list of what people expect from you keeps coming, as well as then you have a business and have other things. So the idea of that, where do you fit in? I don't know. Sometimes you get lost.
Yes.
You lose yourself. And you have to re-find yourself. Yeah.
True, it's so true, right? Because a lot of us actually wear so many hats, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, every single one of us, we wear at least 3 or 4 or even a dozen hats.
Yeah.
A mother, a father, a friend, a daughter, a partner, a community leader, your work, your workmate, or whatever it is. So yeah.
So I think it's constantly changing. I think every new chapter, every new stage in your life, you become a different person. essentially to cope with what you're doing, because you can't be the person you were when you were 21, when you're now like I'm 56.
Yep.
So you've experienced all those things, you've grown. Sometimes you share your issues, sometimes you pick up other things from other people. So yeah, it's just about, I think, trying to find your own inner happiness and self-love, because if that doesn't come, there's a lot of heartache for everybody, not just yourself.
Yes. And as a result, you know, that kind of activity, helping ourselves to be sort of having me time, having quality time with yourself and enjoying things that you love doing rather than just doing things for other, like even simple things like Joy says, you know, skincare or going to the nature. I love doing that. I know that Debbie is really good at that, and we're going to hopefully catch up in Werribee Beach sometime. Like enjoy the
sounds good.
And so that kind of things really help us to sort of get grounded again, right? And so then we will have that sort of oxygen in our mass to be able then to overflow to others.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
and it's all part and parcel of spiritual life, because our lives cannot be fulfilled spiritually. Like, to me, obviously, when it comes to spiritual life, is to do with my connection with, you know, my creator, my God. And when I have my devotion, when I read, you know, the scripture and fellowship with other people, that also fills me up.
Yeah.
That's why, like Debbie and I, when we chat on the phone, we're happy. Like, I love that. I love chatting with you on the phone.
Yeah, and it sort of comes down to your own self-identity. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who really are you?
Yes.
Like what makes that's right. What makes you happy? What path are you on? What do you want to achieve? Who do you want to become? Where do you want to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So like, even to me personally, my self-identity is I'm pretty social. So I love, you know, connecting with people, both obviously like this on Zoom, but physically as well. So now that, say, in Melbourne, our restrictions are eased, we can actually meet up with people, and that really fills me up. Yeah. But for those of you, I know many of you are sort of introverted, take time out for yourselves and read a book, you know, spend some time just on your own, walking around the nature is great. Yeah. Okay, Heath, you have a point here. You are excited about this topic, and you've had a bad habit of not letting the other person finish the sentence when responding. Yeah, you and me. We both have this sort of self-awareness now. I think it's good for us to then practice to not let that excitement or passion of a topic stop us from letting other people speak. You're listening very well, Heath. Good on you. Good on you. But you're right, Debbie, passion is a great thing. Okay, so now we've got about 10 minutes left. I'm gonna, because every chapter of my book at the end, I have find your action steps. So to me, you know, reading this book is not just about encouraging you to read a theory, but to really live out some practical steps, action steps that will help you to become a better version of you. So what I'd like to do in the next 10 minutes before we finish this session is to discuss, if those of you who haven't shared yet, I'd love for you to maybe either share in the group chat, or if you can, you know, open your camera and share, unmute yourself. Okay, so the first thing that I have in the end of chapter 2 about one action step is, now examine your action. Think about a time, maybe, you know, this morning or yesterday, an action that you did, or the things that you've been doing on your journey, whether it's your journey to better health, a journey to managing your weight, a journey to, you know, spending quality time with your partner, your spouse, or being a mom, whatever it is. When think about one thing in your journey that when you reflect on it, you can improve on. Say there is a blind spot there, like the example that I gave when Auntie Ann gave me the teaching or the coaching that, Kitty, when you are frustrated by your expectations not being met, either by yourself or others, think of the good points of that person or yourself, then you can give yourself, a bit of leeway to not be so frustrated or disappointed. So that's an example of an action that I need to take next when I feel frustrated about certain things that don't meet my expectations. Then focus on the positives. Okay, anyone wants to share? Joe, are you there? Or Jane? Or Christina? Yeah, Christina, I see your beautiful face. Do you want to unmute yourself and share one thing about your action or your journey that you feel can be more self-aware, or, your understanding? Can you put yourself on unmute? Yeah.
Sorry, technology is not my friend. It takes me a while before I can get it right. Look, I've actually been giggling to myself as I've been listening to you, because it's almost what is being said is a mirror of the actions which I take, and especially the one about the passion talking over people. My husband keeps on saying one of his arguments is always, let me finish what I have to say. You're always talking over me. And I jokingly always say that I'm just being Italian. That's me. I'm Italian.
I can't say that. I'm being Chinese now.
You're being Chinese. But the reality is that it is. I'm so excitable and I'm so passionate and everything that I want to say things, and what other people are trying to say tends to become lost in the translation, because I'm too focused on what it is that I want to say. So I guess that's one of the things that I have to work on myself, is stop thinking. I guess it's that cross between self-love and self-absorption. Is it the self-love of me wanting to put my point of view across, or is it myself, or is it my own personal self-absorption? And that's the line which I actually have to define, as in, yes, I'm passionate, I want to express myself, I want to identify myself, but not at the expense of disregarding other people as well, which is probably what I'm doing by talking over them and trying to get my point of view across.
Wow, that is such a great reminder. Thank you so much, Christina. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Joe.
Hi. Sorry, I couldn't get my act together. Anyway, I guess I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I felt like I make this commitment to join your transition lifestyle group is one of my self-care and self-love act for myself, and also beginning of this journey of healing for myself, and recognizing that I need to be healed first, and I need to be full first, as you have shared earlier on, to be filled to the brim, that I can be overflowing and be able to give. If I'm empty, there's nothing to give to others. So this journey, just joining a group, I think the community makes a big encouragement for me to stay the course. I've been trying this on my own for a long time, but just keep falling down and then feeling discouraged. Even this week of 7 days of detox is the first time I just felt like, I want to give up. I mean, for 2 years, I've tried to be vegan, and I actually felt like I want to give up as well. And I just thought, my goodness, what's going on here, and I feel like because I'm part of this group, I have to hang in there, and I need to stay on course and not give up. So
Yes. And you know that we're always here for you. And detox typically is one of the most difficult week of the whole journey. And if you can go past detox, which you're quite, halfway through, more like you'll be right. I know that you're doing well. And it's easy for us to, when, the going gets tough, we want to sort of just give up. But when we have a community like this, that's why, even having this virtual book club is an idea that I felt we could support one another. And I'm so glad you're here with us, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, I love hanging out with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like this is since I got to Melbourne, I have not actually looked at myself, and I was just putting my head down and just not I just, you know, maybe it's in a survival mode.
Yes.
And I just didn't look at all. And it's
Sure.
only when I last month when you invited to this book club, it was the first time I said, hey, I have never actually taken care of myself. I'm not actually this 8 years I've just been putting my head down, and like the you know, katak di dalam tempurung, it's just looking down only, never look up. And I just feel like
head
it's
down,
just,
thumbs up, like not looking at yourself, but other people helping them. Yeah, you're
so
very
I'm,
giving. That's why you're an
yeah,
empath.
so ready to I guess once I finish this 8 weeks or 12 weeks, and then I just feel like once I'm healed, I'm beginning to feel, actually today is the first time I actually feel the energy buzz in me.
Good.
Like the excitement of wanting to do things, and not like sluggish as well. So maybe the detox actually did make a big difference. That I thought, oh, it's just same old. It's not. Today I felt a big difference.
It's a very common experience for those that are detoxing, especially people like yourself, many others that have not detoxed previously for a long time. It's always the first few days are the most difficult, detox symptoms, withdrawal and all that. But after a few days, you, like you said, you know, you start to have the energy, and then your body, you know, body fat and everything will slowly, surely melt. And I can say for sure, with your kind of determination, you do really well. And I'm always here for you, Jo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So second question from this action step on my book is talking about, again, oxygen mask. When you are going through, let's say, a tough time, like a difficult time in your life, what kind of oxygen mask do you reach for or anchor in? You know, when I talk about anchor, the 5 dimensions, do you straight away think about your spiritual health, your emotional health, your mental health, your physical, or your social health? Social health is like, you know, relationship with others. And that was what we discussed a little bit in the poll last time. Some people actually focus more on one or the other. Or, you know, you want to be engaging in all 5 dimensions of health. Can someone share? Anyone who hasn't shared yet? Jane has a really good point here, that when one doesn't self-care, value their needs, it can make it harder for others to value you, be considerate to you. It's so true. Jane, do you want to, you don't have to show your camera, but if you want to unmute and share a little bit of your insight there to elaborate on that point. No, that's fine. So basically what I see from what she's sharing is that it's so important we look after ourselves first. And if we know what our needs are, then other people will respect that and also value you and be considerate of your needs. So I know that Jane doesn't want to share now. I respect that, and I won't ask her to share. That's how I respect her, because she's self-caring herself. So it's a classic example.
Kitty.
Adam.
Yes, Kitty, with this hard time with the lockdown, I sometimes used to get a ring from someone I know from Scotch First, like Dennis Karate or Asia. And I sometimes talk with my friends like Ellie and my neighbours. So that's how sometimes.
As you care for yourself. Yeah.
Yes, that's how I try and go through this hard COVID-19 thing, Kitty, with the lockdowns and all that.
Yes. Thank you, Adam. It's true. During the lockdown, it's been difficult, you know, to connect with others, and self-care can be neglected. But what you do there, Adam, with, you know, having exercises, checking in with the neighbors are great things to do. All right. So last but not least, I have an encouragement here that if you actually have certain situations where you feel desperate or hurried, or, you know, you just like so pushed to do things, then one thing to do is really to slow down, to actually have a bit of self-care and do things that you enjoy. Say, for example, have a skincare routine or go out for a walk. Maybe if you guys don't mind, just type in the group chat, or if you want to unmute and share, what are some of the things that you find yourselves doing when you need to have a bit of self-care? You can type it in. Or Jane, are you there, Jane? I know that you've got kids around you, might not be easy for you to share. You can type it there. What about you, Auntie Anne? What do you like doing when you need some time out?
For me, relax.
Relax, that's right, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enjoy life, especially our age. I don't think a lot of things. I always think that every day is a good day, and I just relax. You know me.
Yeah, I know you like Korean movies.
Movie, yeah, or singing. You know, sometimes I watch TV, the singing song. You know, it make your life very, yeah, especially
Relaxing.
singing also is so good.
I know, Auntie Anne, you're very good at that. And I mean, obviously you already have achieved, many of us would love to, in terms of your goals, business goals,
Yes.
you're a millionaire. But even for those of us who are still sort of trying to thrive in our business, we can't actually sacrifice our health for business sake. And that's something I always need to be reminded of, Auntie Anne.
Yeah, I another goal, I want to have my own foundation. That is another goal.
Yeah,
I'm trying to reach it.
That's great. I'm sure you can. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of us like to watch movies on Netflix. Yep, like Jit goes for walk. I love to go for walks as well. And many of you, if you've seen my Facebook post, I always post about my walks around my lake where I live. I love doing that. That is my happy place. Like I know with Debbie, you have your happy place, love a drive on the Great Ocean Road, fresh air, and on the ocean. Yes, I love those as well. I love going, to the nature.
Yeah.
What
Spend
else?
time with family.
Spend time with family. Absolutely. That's why I can't wait in a month's time to go to Adelaide to spend time with my Adelaide family. Bible study is great, Jane. Yes, Bible study. If you are someone who loves reading the Bible, because I personally believe that the scripture, the word of God, for those of us who believe that Bible is, the word of God, can actually inspire us and gives us that assurance and that life is good. Yeah. Adam, have a conversation with your friend Ellie. That is a good thing. Calls from Scott's church and neighbors, great. Yeah, I know that you love chatting sometimes on the phone, so I call you every now and then and we have a good old chat, don't we, Adam? And Jane
group chat sometimes.
That's right, Adam. And Jane loves to be creative and to be in the nature. So do I. I love that. And a lot of your suggestions. Oh, Joy loves to take a nap. Me too. Sometimes when I find that I don't sleep enough during the night and I get to wake up early and I have to do things, and then in the middle of the day when I have some time, I take a nap too. That's a good thing. Auntie Anne does that too, doesn't she? Because Auntie Anne said, sometimes we have Zoom at 11 o'clock or late at night because, in Singapore, Malaysia, there's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it will be our midnight. Yeah, Auntie Anne?
Yes, I will sleep afternoon nap and
have a nap.
Make sure I'm wake up.
Yeah, so I've since learned from Auntie Anne because I have a lot of clients and friends and business partners in not only in Asia, in US even worse. Like I had a meeting with the TLS certified trainers and coaches. Their 12 p.m. time is our 2 a.m. 2 or 3 a.m. So in order for me to attend that Zoom meeting, then I have a nap in the afternoon, so I have a bit of energy to attend the early morning, or say if I have a 11 p.m. Melbourne time, which is 8 p.m. Singapore time, a Zoom training, then I have a nap. So it's a good thing, taking a nap like Joy says. All right, so I think that's about it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on. And obviously, if you haven't got a copy of my book, I would love for you to get it. It's only going to be 99 cents, so below $1, because everything that is going to be purchased from, the more people that purchase it, I would love to make a difference and, you know, add value. I really love to have a discussion about the content of my book, because many of the things that I wrote in there has been experiences that I've gone through that have me really, you know, go through tough times and then learn from. So you don't have to go through tough times to learn from the things that I wrote about. And if you can just read it, why not, right? A lot of people, I love reading because of the fact that, you know, I can learn from other people's experiences. So check my Facebook. I'm going to be posting my link, 99 cents Australian, below $1, every single sale from that time of the Kindle book is going to be donating to Black Dot Institute for mental health. But also, if you guys want, every single month, I have this free book club, either on Zoom like today or in face-to-face setting for those of you who are in Melbourne. But otherwise, you know, have a great day, everybody. Hello, Thomas. Thomas is my Zumba teacher, and he is also a great community that I'm part of, which I really, really cherish, because, you know,